Hey everybody, how's it going? Welcome back to Kaulig Nation. I'm Sean. Thank you for taking a few minutes out of your Wednesday to sit down and talk NASCAR with us. So Kaulig Racing for 2 months now has teased a big announcement. Chris Rice on no less than 6 different occasions has spoken to either media or the different radio outlets and teased a big shocking announcement using buzzwords like shocking, that it'll surprise the garage, that it will surprise the world and people don't see it coming. And then we get reports from Bob Pockras, who, by the way, I don't think there's anybody better than him in the business. And he was doing some speculating, but he had mentioned Hemrick and Dillon, and that's on the heels of Lee Spencer mentioning those two. And that just does not line up with the amount of hype, the amount of generated hype and buzz that Chris Rice has put out into the media. To me, you're setting yourself up for backlash from your fan base when you're the one that has been putting the buzzwords out there in the media. I think, though, in the last little while, we have seen some evidence that might lead some people to believe who is going to Kaulig Racing. Let's get into that right now. So let's just get to it. Zane Smith. That's right. Zane Smith, in some capacity, is heading to Kaulig Racing. That is my belief, at least. I could be wrong, so I'm saying that now. Maybe he doesn't. Maybe there's another outcome for this. But let me just lay out a little bit of the evidence. So Derek Kraus looked like he was lined up to do the rest of Kaulig's Xfinity schedule. That didn't happen. Derek Kraus is only going to do 3 races. That means there's 4 other Xfinity races to be filled for the remaining of the season. Well, those 4 races that Derek is not doing line up perfectly with the 4 off weekends for the Truck Series. That leads you to believe that someone from the Truck Series is going into that Kaulig Xfinity car, the Kaulig number 11 Xfinity car to be specific. And people might say that's a coincidence, and maybe they're right, but that is one hell of a big coincidence for all those dates to land like that. We had mentioned the Zane Smith connection in our previous video. Zane, Ambetter Health and Well and Care, who are owned by the Centene Corporation, are located literally 1 state over from Bristol. It would be the perfect place to make an announcement. Zane Smith then adds fuel to the fire with an Instagram story that honestly has gone unnoticed by a lot of people. And again, it could be nothing. It could be some lovely trolling going on, but I don't think so. I don't think you go and troll a sponsor and tag them in it. And that is, he puts out there, can't wait to be back at Texas Motor Speedway. Now, he is signed up with Front Row Motorsports to do Texas in the Cup Series, and he's signed up to do the Charlotte Roval in the Cup Series. Those are his last 2 Cup races, and they're both being sponsored by Ambetter Health, Well and Care. However, there's a Celsius can that's just randomly in the picture, very intentionally, and he tags Celsius. Why is this important? Well, just the NASCAR team in general that Celsius provides the most support to is Kaulig Racing. That's right. Not only are they a main associate sponsor on every single Kaulig Racing car across Xfinity and Cup, they have done 7 Cup Series races with, I believe, 1 or 2 more scheduled with Kaulig Racing this year, 2 with AJ, 5 with Justin Haley. They also did AJ's COTA win earlier this year. And I know people point out that they've been on other cars. You're right. They were on Live Fast at LA Coliseum, and they have sponsored Corey LaJoie 4 times. They are not, though, a main associate partner of Corey LaJoie Inspire, where they are with Kaulig. Celsius's biggest connection in the NASCAR garage is Kaulig. We've heard about new partners and prior drivers being responsible for partners increasing their funding. Partners like Celsius, partners like Nutrien Egg, the Camp and RV partner as well. There's more that I'm forgetting. I think that's just way too much smoke for me to say there's not fire there. So yes, I am putting it down 100%, in my eyes anyways, unless a shocking change happens between now and then, that Zane Smith will drive for Kaulig Racing in some capacity. I would love to sit here and say it's going to be the 31 Cup Series car next year, but I just don't know that. It could be an Xfinity ride next year. It could be part-time in the 31 next year, split with someone else. It could simply be the remaining 4 Xfinity races this year. It could be what was put out by Bob Pockras. Maybe Zane Smith signed a deal with Trackhouse, but there's not going to be an opening there for a year or two. So maybe he goes and drives with Kaulig for a year or two. Kaulig and Trackhouse already have a pre-existing relationship. They share pit crews. They work on them together. There's been rumors of Kaulig and Trackhouse possibly going into a bigger alliance together. If I'm Kaulig Racing, as awesome as it would be to lease Zane Smith, you want Zane Smith in your roster, because if you have managed to secure Zane Smith, there's also the Carson Hocevar rumors, which maybe he's just been trolling the internet with all his likes and stuff. But he also liked multiple tweets or X's or whatever you want to call them that had him and Zane Smith going to Kaulig Racing, which would be, that would be a shock. I don't think anybody would have seen that coming. I don't know what's coming for sure. That's the confusing part. I just 100% believe Zane Smith is driving for Kaulig in some capacity. We'll find out what, for Kaulig's organization's sake. I hope they're not leasing him. I hope it's long term. But hey, if Zane Smith is also bringing money to the table and he's going to be in your car for a couple of years and just help you advance your program while advancing his career while waiting for a Trackhouse spot to open, it's better than what you have now and what some of the other options have been out there. And there's been obviously the Noah Gragson being reinstated. Maybe he plays into this too. I said to my co-host Ryan that, maybe some people will disagree with this, but I think Noah Gragson immediately going back to the Cup Series would be a mistake. He was terrible this year. He does not have the amount of funding that people think he does. Black Rifle Coffee Company and Wendy's did not support a ton of his races. A lot of his races were covered by legacy groups. So then you compare the fact that Carson Hocevar has as many top 20s in 2 races as Noah Gragson did all year. It's obviously not just the equipment. I would be totally for Kaulig Racing taking a flyer on Noah Gragson in the Xfinity Series, but to me, Gregson's got to earn his way back up. I think that's just very clever timing for the Gragson thing, but I could be wrong. Maybe we find out this weekend that Noah Gragson is going to be in one of those Kaulig Cup cars or a Kaulig Xfinity car. I don't know. The one thing I can say for certain is whenever they make this announcement, it sounds like it's this weekend. I have no doubt the hype surrounding it is there, but will the end result live up to the hype and buzz that the team has created? Leave a comment down below, subscribe, slash that notification bell to keep up to date with all the future content that we have coming on this channel. Whenever that announcement happens, we will be there to cover it one way or another. I have a wedding to attend this weekend, so the timing's not great, but we will cover it. Again, thank you. Keep a smile on that face. Let's be positive. Let's imagine that Kaulig can take a massive step forward. I think a lot of the media putting out lesser names out there has to do with their on-track performance this year. I still think there's a world where they do improve from this. Let's hope that the entire Kaulig fan base hasn't been misled a little bit or overhyped. I think it has a chance to be a truly special weekend. Let's hope it lives up to it. See you then.